Georgia football just got so much news as day one of training camp is in the books, and Kirby Smart gave us a ton of answers about the present and future of the Georgia Bulldogs program. We got to break it all down. What's up, guys? I'm Matt Long. Welcome to Georgia Football 365. If you are a Georgia Bulldogs fan, please hit that subscribe button. Only 10.2% of viewers are subscribed to the channel, and it really helps me out a ton. But let's jump right into what we got for today. Before the Dogs stepped out on the practice field today, Kirby Smart was asked a bunch of questions about the program, and let's dive into the most important answers, starting off with the injury updates coming from Dogs 24/7. Smart gave the latest on running back Dante Dowdle and safety Kyron Jones ahead of Wednesday's opening practice. Smart explained that Dowdle is doing better, but he is still not with the Bulldogs and does not have a timeline to rejoin the team. As for Jones, Smart explained that Jones has been on a pitch count with a foot injury and that he will remain on a pitch count to open camp. So first of all, first update we know about Dante Dowdle, the transfer from Kentucky, slotting it in to be one of Georgia's rotational running backs behind Nate Frazier. Unfortunately, suffered an ATV accident about maybe a week and a half ago to 2 weeks ago. Pretty recently. Good to hear that he's doing better. That's the good news. The bad news is that he does not have a timeline to return to the program. Telling us that he doesn't have a timeline essentially tells us that right now we should not be expecting him to return this season, which it is what it is. Now on to our injured safety. He is coming back with a foot injury. It was called an ankle injury earlier in the offseason. To this morning, Kirby Smart made sure that everyone understood it was a foot injury for our safety. He is itching to get back out there, and he will be getting back out there. We're going to be keeping him on a snap count, making sure that he is not going to be able to hurt himself any further. So that's it for the injury updates. After that, Kirby Smart was asked a lot about, running backs for Georgia, which of course, running backs for Georgia are always doing amazing. The answer to that question is always good, great, amazing, doing as good as any running back room in the country. So that's not the question to ask that's going to give you the most actionable result. After that, Kirby Smart was also asked about the tight end room, another room that if you're the Georgia Bulldogs, the tight end room is super, super, super strong each and every year. This year going to be led by Lawson Luckie. Another question that doesn't have the most actionable answer. But then Kirby Smart was asked something that is significantly more actionable than the room, positional group related questions. He was asked, do we think and can we expect to see anyone returning to the Georgia Bulldogs or any class of 2022 college football players who were just granted an extra year of eligibility? Can we expect to see any of those players to be joining the Georgia Bulldogs for this upcoming season? And Kirby Smart had a pretty honest answer to that question. He said, if somebody knew what was coming, kind of like a crystal ball, and they said, we're going to sit at only 100 players so we can bring 5 guys in, they were a lot smarter than me. I was trying to operate at the fact that we had 105 players and we had the best team that we could. So it's going to be hard unless some teams operate under that 105 and they may have room. But as I understand it, they've got to return to the school that they were at unless they were in the portal, which is going to limit that rule a bit. So a question that a lot of people have been wondering, are the Georgia Bulldogs going to be getting more players added to the roster because of the fact that we just saw what was it? A court came out and said that now players were granted the injunction, 2022 players who were not in college football when the 5x5 rule was implemented. They're now allowed to, if they didn't make it into the NFL, they're allowed to come back to camp. It's super convoluted. Myself, and I imagine everyone else, wishes that someone had control over college football and there were actually set rules and everyone knew what rules we were playing by, so it didn't feel like everyone just did whatever they wanted to do. But we got to play by the rules, and right now it feels like the rules in college football are do whatever you want at all times. And Kirby Smart comes out and he's honest about this question. He says, I didn't know what was going to be happening because nobody knew what was going to be happening, and that was absolutely true. So we are not going to be expecting any new players to be joining the Georgia Bulldogs this upcoming season, at least that were not already on the Georgia Bulldogs. We did talk about a name pretty recently who now has the ability to come back, so maybe we do see one name, but overall, Kirby Smart and the Georgia Bulldogs coaching staff feels really good about the position of the roster as we stand currently today on Wednesday, August 5th, and we're going to be rolling with this roster and trying to win a national championship with it. It's certainly something that could happen, so do not expect any new names. Next update here. Kirby Smart was asked about talented linebacker Chris Cole, and he said, in terms of Chris Cole, I'm excited with what he can do. There's not a higher character player on our team than Chris Cole. This guy is the hardest worker. He hits the highest speed. He plays with the most energy and enthusiasm. There is not a day that we don't show a clip in the team meeting of a guy chasing a ball down and running down a ball. He never saves up. He's the consummate, I'm going to lay it all on the line in the first 10 plays, and if I fade out during practice and cramp up and have to get an IV, then I'll do it. That is exactly what you want to hear out of a player who is willing to, that's what you want to hear out of your star players. It's, usually when you get a guy that is the workout warrior, the training camp grinder, a lot of the times that's a player that is barely on the roster. I guess at Georgia that doesn't apply as much as it would at like a normal college football school or at any normal sort of athletic program. But usually the practice tryhards are the players that don't play in the games. This is their time to shine. I hope I don't make it sound like I'm talking down on anybody, because as a former player like that, I'm really not trying to do that. But it brings an entirely different mindset to the program when your best players are your hardest workers. That's exactly what Chris Cole brings to the program. I thought it was pretty funny reading that comment by Kirby Smart. The amount of times that he said the name Chris Cole was pretty funny. But Cole is a former 5-star linebacker prospect. We always talk about how Georgia, the players we bring in are always going to be very, very talented, but that talent doesn't matter if you don't have the energy, the work ethic, and put in the effort to reach the ceiling of what you can possibly become. Getting a quote like this about Chris Cole is unbelievable, because that gives you a high level of confidence that this player is going to reach the highest level of what they can be. They're going to become the best player they can be. I like calling it maxing out their archetype. I understand that maybe not everyone knows what I mean when I say that, but Chris Cole is going to become the best version of Chris Cole that he possibly can because of that work ethic. And when the 4 stars, 3-star recruits on the team see a 5-star working that hard every single practice and watches it translate to game day, it rubs off on them. They want to work harder, and it makes the entire team better. So this wasn't really a news update, but I wanted to throw this in because it was really something that I wanted to highlight from Kirby Smart's press conference from this morning, because I thought it was super, super important, and I really wanted to talk about it. Last update that we have here, we are hearing of a visit being scheduled from Antonio Thomas Jr. He is a 5-star recruit, ranked the 14th best player in the class of 2028, 3rd best edge rusher, 4th best player in the state of Florida. This 2028 Florida recruiting class is unbelievable. When I say Florida, I mean the state of Florida, not like the Florida Gators recruiting class. He is, I believe the top 3 players in Florida are all in the top 5 of recruiting. But the news here with Antonio Thomas is he has scheduled a visit to Athens, Georgia. He's going to be on campus and at the game when we are going to be hosting the Missouri Tigers. Hopefully that's a win for the Georgia Bulldogs. Antonio Thomas, 6'3", 240 pounds, from Tampa, Florida, plays for Carrollwood Day School. Consensus 5-star. This guy's an absolute monster. Let's go put on a show and make sure we are landing every single possible recruit that we possibly can. That's what I got for this video. If you stuck around this long, I appreciate you taking the time to watch the video all the way through. Please hit that like button if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button if you're new to the channel. Go Dogs!